There you go.
I'm wondering if you get a lot of information from
Yes, remember.
us. Yeah. I'm wondering, are you getting like information while you look at us from us, sort of? Or
Am
like,
I getting information?
yeah, I don't know what to call it, but like picking up stuff or seeing stuff
Well,
or
Skenda, how I do it is very simple. Every book I've ever written, everything I've ever done of that nature, which is a compilation of information about spiritual practice, life, every single one of those books. What's that? It's a kind of an echo.
oh, it's my volume. Wait a second.
Yeah. It comes because of a state of surrender. It becomes because not that I gather information in my brain and then impart it. It comes in the act of writing, in the act of living. This higher energy flows through, and it really enables me to make choices, to do creative things, to live that way. Because I mean, my brain isn't big enough to compile all the information that exists in the cosmos, but every single bit of it will flow through if I open to myself and live in a state of surrender. That's what the meditation is about, building a system inside that enables one to do that. So, yes, things come through me all the time. I mean, I've been writing this book, for God's sake. I mean, I'm on number 59 of this book on Tantra, and I'm amazed at what comes through. Not things I think about, but things that are so important in the transmission of energy. Make your speaker a little lower because I hear an echo. You know, what comes through is an incredible transmission of Shakti in language, in words, in life, in living, in loving, in opening to people. Finding room in myself to you know, be in a position to try to help people grow and do. It's all from surrender. It is all not ideas I have in my brain about the way I want to live. So, I mean, the reason it works for me that way is years of building a chakra system that's strong enough to be deeply connected to higher energy in the universe. And that source of energy flows through. And it's the greatest source of information there is in the universe because it's inspired information. It's not well thought out, rationalized information in my own brain, but it comes from a higher place. Same place. It's like I mentioned a billion times about Bach, dying and everybody's upset and, crying. And what are you crying about? I'm going to where the music comes from. That kind of information is where the music comes from. And one can't go there unless they're open in themselves and they built a system inside that's strong enough to be able to allow that energy to flow through them. Meditation is only a craft that enables one to do what I'm talking about. And that takes time, it takes a lot of inner work, and it really brings one to a state where there is a state of enlightenment. And that state of enlightenment is, just surrendering totally to God and let everything flow through that guides your life. But you need to have a system inside that's strong enough to do it. And that's all this
hmm.
is. That's all this meditation is about. It's not about me being a teacher. not about me being a guru and having student. It's about transmitting this incredible means and technique of developing a system that enables one to open deep enough to be connected with God. So yes, there is an information source in the cosmos that transcends any newspaper you'll ever read. I mean, it really does. But it's not something you can think about or the second you know it, and it just completely disappears, and it doesn't work. But the second you open to it and allow it to flow through you and become part of your life, it works. I don't know how it works, but it works. I never could figure out how this works, but I'm so grateful that it does, because it doesn't. I don't live like a machine, like a computer. I live my life with moment to moment experience of higher energy in the universe. And that is a source of information that transcends everything. But it's nothing you can hold on to, but it's something you can live. You can simply have a system inside that enables you to live that way. It's where all the greatest arts in the world come from. Music, dance, writing, everything, literature, all of that comes from that source. Probably the closest to it is music. Gets probably the closest to that source. Not the source itself, but the closest to it.
I got another question.
Yes.
So my life's been changing actually a lot after I met you. So I got a beautiful loft apartment, and I have a nice job and high income, and I have a lot of stuff to be grateful for. I'm happy. But a lot of the people I meet and my friends, they do not have that. And I'm like, I can't share my joy because I feel like, and then I also am like, but I'm doing this work, which is sort of actually bringing me a lot of good stuff. I'm like, I've met this guy, and stuff is happening after I met this guy. But I feel like the blockage, like, I don't want to give unsolicited advice.
Well,
I don't want to be the guy who's like, you know,
Skenda,
there's like a dilemma there. Yeah.
I went through the same thing. Friends that somehow slip into the past because you can't communicate with them on a level you'd like to communicate anymore. The answer to that is to accept change as it happens in your life, and not to let friendships, love people anyway, even if you can't communicate with them. Even if you have nothing to talk to them about, even in silence, you can still love them. You can like them. You can let them be. They don't have to understand. I mean, look, I arrived at a place in my life where I would talk about baseball to people. Now, I'm not particularly interested in baseball, but I knew talking about baseball would allow me to communicate with them. The things I would tell them didn't threaten them and intimidate them. You understand what I'm saying? So you can maintain friendships, but don't have any expectations about the way people are going to respond to you. Try to tune in to where they're at and talk to them on their level. Have friendships, have a beer, sit down and talk about what? I don't know, skiing in Norway. I don't know what, the fjords, I mean, what, I mean, it's just fun. It's just human. It's not, it doesn't have to be always spiritual,
Yeah. No, I don't want to talk about spiritual stuff, but I want to sort of see them because, man, I have friends, man. I had to ditch a friend the other day because he's an alcoholic. He just comes with problems and the same stuff. And I'm like, man, like I'm building a thing here, and you're actually like, come on, let's drink. Come on, man. Let's ta 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 ta. I'm like, Like, dude, you got to deal with your
Well, you can
problems. You got
go.
to.
I used to go to cocktail parties and I drink Perrier, you know. And, oh, you're not drinking. I said, look, leave me alone. This is what I drink. This is what you drink. And let's get on to another conversation. I mean, I used to do this. I've been through all this stuff. So I'm very clear about how to deal with people like that. You don't condescend. You understand? All right, what is their level? How can I communicate? How can I not intimidate them, threaten them with what I know about life, and just treat them like human beings? I mean, I have to do that with my family. I can't go to a family gathering and talk about Kundalini yoga. My God, they look at me like I was crazy. A madman came into the house. So I talk about all kinds of stuff that they're interested in. So it's part of, like Rudy once told me, if you do spiritual work, less is more. You have to make up the difference for other people. You can't condescend, you can't look down on them. You have to, what happened to Skip? Disappear. Well, there you are. People are bouncing around here. Anyway, you have to treat people that way. They're just human beings, and everybody's just on the level that they're at. And what does everybody really want? They just want to be happy. And everybody has a different idea of what is going to make them happy, and respect that.
Yeah.
You know.
I wanted to start meditating, man.
Hmm?
I wanted to start meditating. I want to I get
Yeah,
this
well,
preacher.
look, we don't talk
I don't want
when
to preach. I don't want to preach, but I want to help them and be like, yo,
the
I
best way you
found
can
something
help
really
them is
nice.
to just love them and let them be.
Hmm.
Just love them and let them be. And when they are ready to hear about meditation, they will come to you one day and say, Skender, tell me about meditation. I mean, I had somebody, next Sunday, I'm not going to have a meditation because I've been invited to a memorial service for a person who was once a student of mine many, many years ago. And the story is very interesting. I always had a very deep place for this person in my heart, and she was a wonderful human being. And one day there were problems in this, and she left, and I hadn't seen her for 20 years. And I get an email from another woman who was once a student of mine that doctors say she has 2 days to live. So I wrote her back and I said, do you think that her partner would let me come visit her? And she gave me her partner's email. I emailed her and I got the email back, Stuart, 2 days ago, I dreamt about you. Her partner was also once a student of mine. Please come whenever you can get here. So I really just got in with Jennifer. We got in a car. We drove to Manhattan, went to the apartment, and I sat down with this woman who was literally in the last stages of her life. She was gasping for air. I took her hand in mine, took a deep breath, and started doing a little bit. And it was like 20 years went by in a whisper. And she responded so deeply, you know, to the connection we had. It was just astonishing. It was an astonishing thing. So when people need it, this woman, one day before she died, she needed, and she called out to me to come to her. And the connection, the cycle fulfilled itself in the connection. So when people need it, they will get in touch with you. If they don't need it, you can talk yourself, blue in the face, and they are not going to get one word that you're telling them. They're not. They're
Don't talk
not.
about it, really. Yeah.
So you have to respect where people are at and let them find their way. It might take 5 lifetimes down the road, but they will find their way to some form of spiritual practice that will help them get to God.
Seems like it.
So it was amazing, that whole. So they're having a memorial ceremony for her, in Manhattan on next Sunday, and I'm going to go. And it takes place exactly the time of this class, so I won't be able to have this class next Sunday.
Mm.
Does anyone else have a question I would like to ask?
I have another question.
Yes.
Like is a very strong current of energy, and I get a lot like like movement and kriyas and stuff, and I'm thinking like you don't get any kriyas. It does mean like your
I used to
system
have
is
tons
weakened,
of
or
careers and tons
yeah,
of.
right.
I managed to get centered enough inside that I can absorb the kriyas, take them into the chakra system. But years
Oh,
ago, I mean, my teacher would go like this, and I literally would bounce across the room.
yeah.
That's what happened.
Mm.
But it was energy unblocking me. And after years of work, I managed to get through those blocks where I don't need the kriyas anymore.
Mm.
But if you have them, don't stop them. They're just energy working inside you.
Mm.
I mean, I sometimes, do meditations with Jennifer. I touch her, between the shoulder blades, and she literally bounces. It frees up an energy there. It's amazing. Most people, I always kid around that I'm a Kundalini cardiologist, getting people to open their hearts, because that is really the biggest block place inside every human being,
Mm.
the heart chakra. Does anyone else have a question?
One more, Stuart.
Huh?
When I close my eyes, I feel like I'm sort of when I open my eyes, I there's this autonomous voice which starts to like talk in my head. Like, oh, he closed his eyes. Oh, he went a bit deeper. Did he go deeper? What is he doing now? He looks a bit grumpy. Did I do something wrong? It's just
Well, something
is
to
the
get
lack of
past.
training? Is it the lack of
Lack of
training that I
training. It's a lack of training. It's something to get past. It goes away,
uh,
but it
uh,
takes time. The chakra system needs to be strong enough, and all of these things disappear.
yeah. So it's like being in a place where your eyes are not taking in like your brain is not taking in the information the eyes are
No,
perceiving.
because look, when you do this meditation with the eyes open, it's not only for Skender, it's for all of us. You're connected to the world. At the same time, you have to learn how to stay centered inside yourself so that you create a bridge between yourself and life. No matter what you do in life, you see things all the time, but you are so centered inside that nothing drags you out of yourself.
Huh.
That's why we do open eye meditation. Closed eye meditation, I'm not putting it down, but people cut themselves off from life.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know, you're connected, and at the same time, you're centered in the chakra below the navel. So you're here and you're there at exactly the same time. And as you
Mm-hmm.
build that power in yourself, doesn't matter what the hell's going on in the world, you stay centered inside.
Mm-hmm. Still don't kind of know what it means to be centered, Stuart.
Hmm?
I still don't kind of know what it means to be centered. Like,
Well, you got to learn how to
you
do
know,
it. And I promise you'll know what it means once you do it.
listen, I feel it, but it's like I don't know. Yeah.
Once you get it, man, I'm telling you, it's a blessing like no other blessing. But that's what the work is all about. It takes time to get it. You got to come to more classes, you know?
I know. I know. I've been a bad student.
Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask?
Yes, Stuart.
Yes.
Um, I seem to have a lot of sudden movements when I'm sleeping. Are these also kriyas?
Yes.
I only have it when I'm sleeping, mostly.
It's all right. When you're sleeping, you're deeply relaxed and that energy can flow and it'll hit blocks and you'll have movements. It's not a negative thing. It's a very positive thing. So just open. And as I always say, you get stronger inside to where you can absorb the kriyas. You can transform the blocks without them having you bounce around, you know? You have that kind of inner strength. You're like a stupa. You know what a stupa is? You know,
Yes.
you know those Tibetan stupas, those towers where they, I mean, they really are a symbol of a person who is completely centered and open to God. That's what they symbolize. Pyramid is the same thing. And you get like that in yourself. You have that strength inside. You can transform anything that takes place in your life. And if you're sleeping and it happens, all right, it'll stop. You know, you grow, it stops. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask? Okay, if there are no more questions, thank you, all of you. God bless you. There'll be a class on Thursday. I'm looking forward to seeing everybody. And just remember, you know, like use this thing that's going on here, you know, to build the kind of system inside yourself that can really have a spiritual life, that can be focused, centered, grounded inside. And having a spiritual life doesn't mean you sit around and meditate all day. It means that no matter what you do with yourself every day, you are centered. You become a child of God living in the world, recognizing that whatever comes into your life is sacred and is one's teacher. Not that I am the teacher or you are the teacher. It is the teacher. And it is reminding you of exactly how you need to grow inside yourself. So that gratitude is a very important element. Being able to be in the world and to be detached from the world, exactly the same. Okay, if there are no more questions, thank you. God bless you all. I will see everybody on Thursday.
Thank you, Stuart.